we got a new ink in stock that is, well, basically, we're trying to come out with something that's cheaper than Garvey, that works similar to Garvey, maybe not exactly the same because it's pretty hard to beat. We shall see in this video, by the way. But something that's a little bit easier on the pocket for us ballers on a budget, baby. Us ballers on a budget. So why don't we do this? We'll get some mops filled up. I got a little bit of Garvey left right here. We'll see how it compares. I mean, remember, this is, what is this now? $49. So even if this is 10 bucks more, $49. That's not us. That is them. So anyways, why don't we do this? Why don't we get some mops filled? It's raining outside, so we got to do this indoors today, which is fine. It's nice and toasty in here, so get your cocoa, get ready. And I got my tagging board and my easel, and we're just going to do it to it. We'll buff it, see how it works, how it looks, and you will see what it's like. Now, Garvey ink was made, I want to say probably in the early 1900s. I know the company's been around for a while, but it was initially made as a price marking ink. Back in the day, if you wanted to mark your price on something, you used something called a price gun. And the ink used was this stuff, Garvey XT70, very, very popular ink. Now, some very smart graffiti kids back in the 70s realized that if you added this to other inks, you can create more flow, more drips, also more staining power. Now, by itself, it is a dye ink. All dye inks will fade in the sun. But back in the day, for inside transit, subway trains, buses, things like that, they would use these type of dye inks because they bled into the surface. They also work great outdoors when you mix it with other inks because if you paint over them, they bleed through. First, let's rock the Garvey ink in this bad boy. See if I can get my aim right here. Let's go ahead and fill that up. Don't think we need to go all the way. Just a dab will do ya. All right, guys, so there is a cutting mop filled with Garvey ink, so that'll be a lot of fun. We'll go ahead and set that aside here. And then up next is a Spring Fever mop that is going to be mixed with Steve Garvey ink because I want to see how it looks. Now, the Spring Fever mops, they're like a painty type of mop ink, which I like, but I do wish they had more flow. And that's why you add dyes to these things or other stuff. But in this circumstance, we're going to add some purple dye, which I think will give it really good staining power. And, oh, actually, that goes over here. It's going to give it really good staining power. And I think it's going to bleed through quite a bit. So we'll see about that. Looking forward to trying that one out. Make sure you shake it up, of course, too, because you are mixing two different types of inks there. Okay, so this one has Soul Tip Silver and some Steve Garvey ink. Now, as you can see, it's already pretty full with ink, so I'm just going to add a little bit more silver to it because I want to see how it looks here. So we'll use this little handy eyedropper here just to add a little bit more silver to the mix. The reason why I'm doing this is just to show you how you can mix it with other different types of inks. You know, just to get different types of effects, you know. And this goes beyond graffiti. This can be for any type of art, really. Graffiti's not art. I know. You know what I'm saying. Getting creative with the medium. Alright, so we have some Steve Garvey mixed with some, what's it called? Soul Tip paint. That's right, Soul Tip paint. Alright, so we got that one ready to go. And then this one is just going to be Steve Garvey by itself. I'm just going to add a little bit more to it. I don't think we'll need that much more, but, you know, it's fun to fill them up. All right, dope. Hopefully I didn't get any of my new shirt. Oh, thank you for the shirt, by the way. This is sent to me by Drew OTR. I'll put a link down below. Drew OTR, LOD. OG writer for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. take this Glidden, I think Glidden, yes, Glidden paint and primer. The reason why I'm using it is just because my roller is already dirty with it, and it is a heavy duty paint. It's very thick, it has a primer built in, and it will be applied evenly to all of these to see which one bleeds through the most. Should be interesting. So why don't we do this? Actually, you know what? I'm about to bomb my Crispies here, so let me switch out of my shirt real quick, and we'll get started. This is turning into one of those things where you're watching a horse race and one of those horses are just so far ahead of the pack that you just rip up your stubs and just walk out of the stadium because you're just not going to win this one. And I think that's what's happening right now. But man, look at this. I mean, Garvey is expensive, it is, but it's really powering through like nothing else. And I put together some math. I did math. That's right, I did some math for you guys because, you know, well, I'm trying to help you guys out because price per ounce is really crucial on this kind of stuff. Because, you know, something may look more expensive, but maybe it's a big bottle, or something looks cheaper, but it's a really tiny bottle, which is kind of what I did with the hard to buff on the stickers video. And I think that kind of went over some people's head because I had a lot of replies from people like, who cares about hard to buff on stickers? They'll just scrape the sticker off. And that's not really at all what I was talking about in the video. In fact, I even laid out the price per ounce of hard to buff versus Pilot ink in there, but I guess nobody noticed. Nobody noticed. That was the deal. You'd save like, I think it was like $3 or something. Go back and watch the video. I'll put a link down below so you guys can watch it. But it's the same circumstance here. Garvey ink, 8 ounces of Garvey is $59.99. They're charging us tons of money for that stuff. So you're looking at $7.49 an ounce. 227.3 milliliters, by the way, Europeans. Steve Garvey, 180 milliliters, 6.33 blah, 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 ounces. $2.36 an ounce. $2.36 versus $7.49. So yes, you are getting a much better bleed through with Garvey ink. It does, it bleeds through much better. But it also costs quite a bit more than the Steve Garvey ink, which is doing a very respectable job, but at a much lower price. 2 more coats of paint and they're both pretty much wiped out. And that's just kind of the way it goes. But what you're preying on is a lazy buffer because either A, they're probably getting paid for gig, so they're just trying to do it quickly, or B, they're getting paid by the hour and it doesn't really matter, they get paid anyways. So they'll just apply 1 coat of buff and walk away from it because what's the incentive? And if that's the case, you're gonna get much more bleed through with the Garvey, but as you can see, you still get a respectable bleed through with the Steve Garvey at a lower price. So you just have to weigh those things out. If a buffer really wants to buff it, it's gone. If they don't care, weigh those things out. Bottom line, just paint more. I mean, it's just what you gotta do. You just gotta paint more. Paint more. But anyways, I gotta get out of here, guys. So why don't we do this? I'm gonna give away what's left of these bottles, plus all the mops that I used in this video. And I'll toss in a couple extra nibs too, just in case, just to keep you safe. And just leave a comment below, tell a joke, tell a fun graffiti story, tell any kind of story. I'm gonna pick a random winner out of the group and I'll be sending this over to you because why not? Might as well spread the love. You know what I'm saying? Might as well spread the love. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. This is artprimo.com, artprimo.com, artprimo.com. Your #1 source for all things graffiti, street art, murals, painting your wicker furniture with your old lady friends, models, RC, whatever. We take all comers. So come on over. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Bye.